This is a satellite image of Beirut port in Lebanon, captured on July 31st, 2020. But just 4 days later, something happened here that left the port in this condition. The hangars at the port look completely destroyed, and there's a huge crater about 135 meters wide, about the length of 2 Boeing 747s. What exactly happened here that caused the biggest non-nuclear explosion in the world? On August 4th, 2020, a video clip went viral. Isra Sablani was having a photo shoot standing at Sci-Fi Square in Beirut. Suddenly, a huge explosion wave forced everyone to run away. Exactly 23 minutes before this, at 5:45, some welders were fixing a hole in the wall inside a hangar at Beirut port. Sparks from their work sparked a fire in the warehouse. This hangar was called Number 12 and was right next to the sea. 10 minutes later, at 5:55, a team of 9 firefighters and 1 paramedic arrived on the scene. After assessing the fire, they radioed in. The fire chief said something felt off. The fire was getting out of control, and weird noises were coming from it. They had only been there for 12 minutes when, at 6:07, a huge explosion went off. Videos of the blast show white smoke and flashes like fireworks. There was a shipment of fireworks stored in spot number 12, which probably blew up because of the fire. But that was just the first blast, with a force equivalent to a 1,500 kilogram TNT explosion. People were still trying to figure out what that noise was. Seconds later, another explosion went off, tearing through all of Beirut. This second blast was caught on a bunch of cameras because after the first explosion, many people were busy filming the scene. A huge fireball shot up into the sky with a shock wave that traveled faster than the speed of sound. In the second blast, a white dome appeared, spreading over a large part of the city. It was actually water vapor created by the pressure of the shock wave. After that, a massive cloud of red smoke rose into the sky. Experts say, the red smoke in the hangar is proof that ammonium nitrate was present. The explosion was so powerful that people as far as 200 kilometers away in Cyprus were scared and came out of their homes. The shockwave shattered windows at Beirut Airport Terminal, 8 kilometers away, and even caused steel rods in nearby buildings to bend outward. Just to give you an idea, the blast happened in Beirut, but the United States Geological Survey recorded it as a 3.3 magnitude earthquake. According to scientists at Sheffield University, the explosion was equivalent to a 1.5 million kilogram TNT blast. So, the blast was 1,000 times bigger than the first one, and about 10% of the nuclear bomb dropped on Hiroshima. All the hangars around the blast site were completely wiped out, like nothing was even there. The ships docked nearby also took severe damage. Meanwhile, a 5-star Orient Queen cruise ship, which was 390 feet long, got thrown into the air, flipped over, and landed back in the water upside down. The explosion created a 135-meter-wide crater in the ground that immediately filled up with seawater. The Beirut explosion is considered the biggest non-nuclear blast in the world. This blast even messed up the ionosphere, the outermost atmospheric layer near space. Because of that, GPS and radio signals got disrupted for a few seconds. The scene in Beirut was nothing short of an apocalypse. The streets looked completely destroyed. Entire buildings in northern Beirut were flattened. Uprooted trees, overturned cars, and twisted steel girders were scattered everywhere. The blast was so powerful, it knocked out the entire city's electricity supply. It caused the rescue efforts to face even more obstacles. Military bulldozers were used to clear the roads so rescue workers could get through. In this tragedy, 218 precious lives were lost, and over 7,000 people were injured. As for others, 12% of Beirut's population became homeless in the blink of an eye. Hospitals and medical centers, where the injured were supposed to be treated, were also hit by the blast and destroyed. Many hospitals had to start treating patients in parking lots and on sidewalks. St. George Hospital, located near Beirut port, Just a few meters away, even after being completely destroyed, patients were still being treated on the broken sidewalks. But despite that, thousands of injured had to be turned away simply because there wasn't enough space even on the sidewalks. It's believed that after the blast, the homeless were taken in by those whose homes were spared because they were farther from the port. The fire raged for 7 hours after the explosion, and thick black smoke hung over the sky well into the next day. The smell of sulfur and burnt rubber lingered in the air for several days. But just a few days later, protests broke out all over Lebanon. People took to the streets, angry at the government's failure, and they all had the same question: what was the real cause of this explosion? Reports said that hangar number 12 was being used to store dangerous chemicals like oil cans, kerosene, and hydrochloric acid, along with 15 tons of fire wax. Basically, it was a disaster waiting to happen. Despite storing such highly flammable stuff, the warehouse wiring was in terrible condition. There wasn't even a smoke detector there. There was no alarm system or sprinkler system. But hangar number 12 didn't just have that. It was also hiding another dangerous chemical. A shipment of 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate had been stored there in plastic bags for the past 7 years without any proper safety measures. This chemical is often used as a fertilizer in agriculture or as an explosive in the mining industry. It has also been used in several terror attacks. The protesters had just one question: why was so much ammonium nitrate stored there? The ship was docked where nearly 1,000 people lived nearby, so who's really responsible for this disaster? It all started back in 2013 when a Russian ship was traveling from Georgia to Mozambique. This merchant vessel, named La Rosa, had been at sea for over a month and due to technical issues, had to dock in Beirut. The ship was carrying 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate and had already docked at Beirut port. But the ship never left Beirut after that. The captain said the ship's owners were struggling financially at the time and thought that in Lebanon, some more cargo was supposed to be loaded and sent to Mozambique. But because of the cargo they booked from Lebanon, the load became too heavy, and the ship's crew refused to carry it. The ship owner not only stopped paying the crew's salaries, but also didn't cover the port charges. In Beirut, the authorities kept the ship's crew locked on the ship for the next 11 months since they didn't have visas to enter Lebanon. Finally, in 2014, the crew was released, but due to unpaid dock fees and duties, the ship was seized. The cargo was explosives. The authorities confiscated it and transferred it to hangar number 12, where it stayed until the horrific incident in 2020. Over those 6 years, while this dangerous chemical was just lying around haphazardly in Hangar 12, the port authorities repeatedly sent warning emails to government officials. But the Lebanese government didn't care. The first email was sent in 2014 by the former customs director to a judge, urgently pointing out that storing such a highly dangerous chemical at the port was extremely risky. But he never got any response. According to an Al Jazeera report, one of these emails demanded the Marine Agency to immediately export the cargo back because the climate conditions inside the hangar were not suitable for this chemical. In fact, another letter even suggested that the government should just sell this chemical to a Lebanese explosives company to get rid of it. The government was last warned about the dangers of this chemical in an email sent in 2019. But even then, the government ignored the port authorities' warnings when it came to the wall of hangar number 12. The security risk increased even more after the leak. It's believed that during the repair of this leak, sparks caused a fire, which then led to these explosions. In 2025, it will be 5 years since this blast happened. But the real culprits haven't been punished, and their trial hasn't even been properly conducted. Due to political issues, ministers' legal immunity, and conflicts within the judiciary, the investigation has been repeatedly stalled. When Judge Fadi Sawan charged some high-profile ministers, he was removed. Then Judge Tariq Bitar took over the case. When the issue was brought up again, groups like Hezbollah and Amal opposed it and filed a stay order in court. From 2022 to 2024, the investigation was completely stalled. In January 2025, after Nawaf Salam became prime minister and the Israel-Hezbollah conflict occurred, the case reopened. In May 2025, a report came out saying Judge Tariq Biar is set to issue his final verdict on August 4, 2025, which will mark the 5th anniversary of the blast. Even after 4 years since that devastating and unbelievable tragedy, the scars are still visible in Beirut. At the blast site, there's an 8-foot-tall statue made from broken glass, twisted rods, and debris from destroyed houses. The statue is shaped like a woman holding a sword, standing in memory of the 218 people who lost their lives that day. Underneath the statue's feet lies a clock that still shows 6:08, frozen at the exact time of the explosion and hasn't moved since. We hope you all like and share this video. Thanks so much for your love and comments. See you in the next awesome video.